name is Luke Davis, and today I will be talking to you about Down syndrome. I chose this topic because I have a friend named Colton who has Down syndrome. He lives in Cloverdale, California, and is 1 year older than me. We have been friends my whole life, and our families have spent a lot of vacation time together, hiking, swimming, and celebrating holidays. Although, sometimes it is hard to understand what Colton is saying. When we would go to a public place, we would have to have constant supervision over him because Colton doesn't really have safety awareness. He might swim out too far or pick up a snake not realizing the danger. When I was little, I remember when Colton's mom, Heidi, would talk to him, she would use sign language when trying to communicate to him. Colton would always have to have his food portioned out for him because he doesn't have the sensation of being full. Also, since people with Down syndrome are more prone to infectious diseases, the intake of sugar for Colton needs to be monitored. I am very thankful that I am friends with Colton, and some of the best memories of my childhood have been with him. Down syndrome is not a disease. It is actually a genetic disorder where there is an extra copy of chromosome 21. There are many symptoms to this disorder, such as a flattened face, short neck, small head, a protruding tongue, and heart effects. These symptoms can range from very mild to very severe. Down syndrome usually occurs when there is a mistake in the cell division during the development of a fetus, but it can be inherited. Right now, Down syndrome patients are expected to live over 60 years. Down syndrome wasn't noticed as its own condition until the late 19th century. John Langdon Down, an English physician, then published the first article about Down syndrome in 1866. He soon became known as the father of the syndrome. Many years later, in 1959, Jerome Lejeune discovered that there were 47 chromosomes in each cell of a person with Down syndrome. This discovery opened the door to great advances in Down syndrome research. Since we know so much about Down syndrome now, we have been changing how we educate or help people with Down syndrome learn. Although people with Down syndrome learn slower, they need to be given the opportunity to learn, and their educational needs need to be met. People with Down syndrome are primarily visual learners, so when reading to a person with Down syndrome, photos and illustrations are highly encouraged. When teaching math to a person with Down syndrome, physical demonstrations and activities should be used. At both home and school, positive reinforcement is highly encouraged because it makes them want to learn more. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and if you have any questions, you can ask me at my booth.